Some of the most fascinating tales in fiction are the tales of lost treasure. From ancient times to the present day, legends tell of priceless gems, glittering gold, enormous pearls. For some, we have no conclusive evidence, while for others, it is clear that they existed at some point in history but have disappeared mysteriously, most lost to the tides of time. Here are the 5 most valuable lost treasures in history. Number 5. Blackbeards Treasure. While the name Edward Teach is little known to most, the infamous Blackbeard terrorized the Caribbean and Atlantic seas in the early 18th century. A master of public image, Edward Teach grew his beard long and decorated it with slow-burning fuses so as to scare his many victims. He once shot a man in the knee as they sat drinking together, explaining that he had to do such things from time to time to maintain his reputation. Blackbeard's career as a pirate was relatively short, but notoriously violent for both his victims and his crews. By 1717, he sailed as part of a fleet of pirate ships, seizing vessels and eluding all dispatch to capture him. But in 1718, he did the unthinkable. He blockaded the harbor at Charlestown and held the entire city hostage until they met his ransom demands. Once they had paid up, he blithely sailed away. Because he did not wish to share his plunder, Blackbeard marooned a good portion of his crew before accepting a pardon so he could spend his fortune in peace. He settled for a time in North Carolina, where he hid his vast treasure collected over his years of plundering, and no doubt made quite the impression on his neighbors. But a life of crime is not easily forgotten. Before long, he was back at his life of villainy, this time operating near the Delaware and Chesapeake Bays. The governor of Virginia was unimpressed with the North Carolina pardon and ordered an expedition which tracked down and killed the pirate in Ocracoke Inlet in November of 1718. They returned with Blackbeard's head displayed from the bowsprit of one of their 2 ships, but no treasure. His ill-gotten goods, which he claimed to have hidden, has been rumored to be in numerous locations along the east coast of the United States and the Caribbean. Ironically, he himself once said, "Nobody but himself and the devil knew where it was, and the longest liver should take all." Number 4. The Las Cinco Chagas. The Portuguese ocean-going ship known as Cinco Chagas was sunk during the Anglo-Spanish War in 1594 after the Battle of Fayal Island near the Azores. This Portuguese carrack was reaching the end of a lengthy journey from India to Portugal. The ship, purportedly under the command of Francisco de Mello, was filled to the brim with all the best of India, having taken on the cargo from 2 other vessels that had been lost in combat. However, British privateers ambushed the Chagas as it neared Portugal and shelled it continuously for 2 whole days. On July 13, 1594, it finally caught fire and sank. Although treasure hunters have tried, the wreckage has never been found, mainly due to the depth at which the ship is believed to now rest. This means 22 boxes of treasure, including diamonds, rubies and pearls, with a current estimated value of over $1 billion, is somewhere at the bottom of the sea, waiting to be found. Number 3. The Merchant Royal. Known as the El Dorado of the seas, the Merchant Royal was an English 700-ton galleon built in the early 17th century. Captained by John Limbury, the ship was on its way back from trading with the colonies in the New World when it stopped in Cadiz, Spain, for some much-needed repairs. Whilst there, Limbury saw an opportunity to make more money and agreed with Spanish authorities to transport treasure to pay 30,000 troops garrisoned in the Belgian city of Antwerp. However, the Merchant Royal continued to leak and never made it to Antwerp. On September 23, 1641, it sank off Land's End. The ship took 18 men with it to the depths, while Captain Limbury and 40 survivors were picked up by the royal sister ship, the Dover. All of the treasure was lost. On board the ship was 100,000 pounds of gold, 400 bars of Mexican silver, and 500,000 pieces of 8. This bounty makes the Merchant Royal one of the most valuable shipwrecks in history, with an estimated value over $1.5 billion. The wreck has been the object of many treasure hunters and documentaries, including Odyssey Marine Exploration Company and the Discovery Channel. But as of yet, the vessel and the vast wealth within its hold has remained elusive. Number 2. The San Miguel. In 1715, the War of Succession had drained Spain of its funds. The country was going bankrupt and in desperate need of money. So a treasure fleet departed from the New World filled to bursting with silver, gold, and gems. 11 ships left. None made it back to Spain. The captain opted to wait in Havana, Cuba, in hopes of avoiding the many pirates reported in the area. He gambled that if he waited until the storm season, he'd be able to slip by unnoticed. In late July, his ships left their anchorage, but only made it a few hundred miles. On July 31st, the fleet was devastated by a hurricane, and 10 of the 11 ships sank, while 1,000 men lost their lives. Yet some crew survived and led a salvage mission to recover the treasure from the deep. The Spanish were able to reclaim about half of the vast wealth. Over the years, more of the treasure has been salvaged, and 7 of the original ships have been discovered near Vero Beach, Florida. What interests treasure hunters today is the 11th ship, the San Miguel, being the fastest ship of the fleet. It supposedly carried the greatest portion of treasure and was purportedly sent ahead of the others the day before the storm struck. It had the best chance of outrunning any opportunistic pirates. Therefore, finding the San Miguel could mean finding one of the largest shipwrecked treasures in history. Some treasure hunters believe that the San Miguel may have headed for Amelia Island in order to escape the storm. Artifacts found near the island seem to confirm this hunch. Other treasure hunters wonder if the San Miguel's captain might have absconded with the wealth, never to be seen again. Either way, the missing bounty has an estimated value of over $2 billion. Number 1. The Flo de Lar. The Flo de Lar is considered the greatest sunken treasure of all time. The ship was used for the Portuguese India run and was the largest carrack built at the time, weighing in at 400 tons. The Flo de Lar made several of the long journeys, and each was fraught with struggles. In 1506, the ship was stranded for 10 months with leaks until the 8th India Armada annexed the vessel. In 1510, the ship assisted in the conquest of Goa, and in 1511, the conquest of Malacca. Despite its history of problems, the Flo de Lar lasted longer than most built in India, which typically only offered 3 to 4 years of service. It was, however, dangerously unseaworthy when fully loaded. Despite knowing this, Afonso de Albuquerque, a Portuguese general and governor of Portuguese India, wanted to show King Manuel I the treasures that India offered. Why he chose to use the Flo de Lar for a return voyage to Portugal in 1511, no one knows. The ship departed laden with enough treasures to impress his monarch. On November 20th, the vulnerable vessel was caught in a storm off the Strait of Malacca, barely a few days into its long journey. After escaping on a makeshift raft, Afonso de Albuquerque watched as the Flo de Lar, and one of the greatest treasures the world has ever known, sank to the bottom of the sea. Rather than impress his monarch, he was only able to disappoint with the tale of the ship's demise and the treasures lost. The Flo de Lar was said to be carrying 200 coffers of precious stones, with diamonds ranging in size from half an inch to the size of a man's fist. Many treasure hunters from modern times have attempted to locate the famed Flo de Lar, but none have met with success. While its location may be a mystery, it is well known that the Flo de Lar is the most coveted lost treasure, valued in excess of $2.6 billion. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating content.